Hey everyone, Tony Mello, Mello Properties team. Hope you're doing well. Just came across a new first-time home buyers mortgage program on Facebook, on the City of Taunton's Facebook page, and it looks promising. I've already registered for the webinar, so I'll review what they say at that time. And I already did kind of look through the details of the loan program to just get a kind of basic idea of what's in there. So basically, the key features are that the interest rate will be reduced by 1% of the MHP one rate, and there's a chart or a graphic that kind of shows those details. So whatever the MHP one rate is, they actually reduce it by 1%, and that is this One Plus mortgage program that they're running. The obviously the lower the interest rate, the better it is for you. So we'll see how that goes. We'll compare that interest rate to what this MHP1 rate is, and that one compared to anything else that you can get anywhere else to see if it is truly a difference compared to everything else that you could get with any other loan officer or bank. I'll do some research, look around, and see how that all happens. Up to 2% down payment assistance. All right. I know that in this particular program, like a lot of other ones, you go take a class, you sit there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, pay the 50, 60, $70, and because of that, you've gotten accustomed to learned a few things about owning a home. The hope there is the more you know about owning a home, the responsibilities of that, the less chance you will foreclose, lose your house, and because of that, they're willing to pay that 2% down payment assistance. I don't know in particular in this case, but in other cases that I've come across, in exchange for that 2% down payment assistance, it has to be your primary house and you have to live in the house for X amount of years. So I would assume that this is the same kind of thing. But again, once I go to the webinar, I'll find out a little bit more about it. And honestly, that in most cases doesn't bother people because it's their first home. They're going to be in there for at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So it's a non-issue for those folks. Some of them pretty much say that they're going to be in there for the rest of their life. Whether that's the case or not, it's a different story. Things change over time, but at least in there for an X amount of period of time is the intent going. And coverage of eligible closing costs. There's some help for that. We'll figure that out. The total One Plus benefit may not exceed 50,000 per household. So whatever they give you in closing costs, whatever they give you in down payment assistance, can't exceed 50,000, which is a lot of money. So that's gonna be a pretty good size house if you're talking about all that. See flyer below for more information. Interested in learning, webinar. We're going to click on this in a second. Any questions may be directed to. We'll do that after we learn a little bit more about it. All right, so here's your traditional, conventional loan program. That's about right these days. They have a one mortgage plan program at 6.5, a little bit less than that. PMI, private mortgage insurance, is required here, is not required here or here. That's good because, in my opinion, that's money out the window, does nothing for you. So, if you can get away from that and not pay that, that's good stuff. Taxes, hazard insurance, this is going up, but it's only going up because the number is going up. All right, so this is the max what they'll loan to you, and because this is going up, that's going up. So if I would imagine if we were looking at this One Plus program, but we're looking at 452, that this tax and hazard will go down to at least that. So That's that. MHP interest subsidy. Okay, interesting. Obviously, they're not. There's no subsidy. There's no interest subsidy here. Um, $87. This is money that they're giving back to you. I don't know how that works or how they're giving it back to you, but that is the reason why that is lower than that, and then $90 making that lower than that. So somewhere, somehow, money is coming back or being paid into the mortgage that you would have been paying, reducing that mortgage payment. So yeah, you can obviously see here that this mortgage payment is exactly the same with the conventional loan. That's as high as you're going to be able to go. With this One Plus program, you can go as high as that and have the same exact mortgage. That is a significant difference between those two, which means bigger house, better house. Um, Interesting. Features of the OnePlus. OnePlus lowers the cost of buying and owning a home in Massachusetts, providing one of the great benefits. This is for that gateway city. I'm not sure if it was in here. Gateway cities are these communities here. So Attleboro, Taunton's in there somewhere. Taunton, Brockton, Fall River, New Bedford's in there somewhere. New Bedford. Out west, up north, towards the Cape, Boston. So any of these towns, this program is available for. Heavily discounted 30-year fixed rates. That's the 5.5 versus the 6.8. No private mortgage insurance. That's great because again, that's money out the window. That's insurance that just it's insurance for the bank or for the lender, the investor. In case you foreclose, that is what covers them to get their money back. But in this case, you don't need that private mortgage insurance. So more money in your pocket. Lower down payment requirements. I saw 1.5% down for single family, 2 family, and then 3% 3 family and higher. So what does that mean? In the case of a 600,000, I did a 300,000. So let's do 600. 600,000 times 0.015. That's $9,000 out of your pocket for closing costs. Down payments. For down payments. That's the money that comes off the top of the 600,000 from your bank account. You would put a certain amount at the offer stage, and then the remainder or another portion at the purchase and sales stage. These are documents, contracts, and if you didn't put the full 9,000 between the offer and the P&S, then at that point you would come up with the difference at closing. So no matter what, from start to finish, $9,000 in this case is what you're looking at. Obviously, the lower the purchase price of the house, 500,000, 400,000, 300,000, the lower that number there. All right. Additional financial assistance for eligible buyers. We'll find out what that is. That's going to be the closing costs. So remember, in every single scenario, you've got down payment requirements, what you have to pay out of your own pocket to pay down from the purchase price, and then you've got closing costs, which are the costs to you to close the transaction, which means paying lawyers and doing all that stuff. All right, so two separate payments. One you're paying people to do things. The other one you're paying down. You're putting a little bit of your own money into buying the property, which is your initial equity in the property. With these additional features unique to One Plus, enhanced down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, buyer's eligibility. Okay, let's do this real quick. You got to be in one of these towns. You got to be a first-time home buyer, not own something in the last 3 years. Meet the down payment requirements. We require 3% down payment to buy condo, single family. Okay, so here we go. I kind of misstated that. You need 3% down to buy a condo, single family, or 2 family, of which at least 1.5 has to come from your own money. meaning that the other 1.5 of that 3% can be a gift from a family member or come from a different source. So we can have to figure out the details of, where that money's coming from, but you need at least 3%. All right. For a three-family property, we require 5% down, with at least 3% coming from your own money. So we'll have to kind of jot that down, set it aside, and then when we're looking for properties, apply these numbers for those properties so that we can give you an idea of what it is that you should expect, more or less. Have a total household income under our limit. I'm going to click on that in a second. Have less than 100,000 in total household assets. Okay. So if you have stocks and bonds and but it does not include most retirement. So if you've got retirement plans that are above that, it does not. You don't need to worry about that. It doesn't include that. But if you've got a checking account or a savings account or stocks or bonds that are in excess, additional, beyond that 100,000, that would be a problem. You need to have the money in the bank that you need to have has to be enough to buy the place up here, but not so much that it'll disqualify you, I guess. Meet our income score limits. Okay, so 640 for single family condo, 660 for 2 or 3 family home. So obviously the lender is going to have to be involved, and they will check your credit to see where you are at the beginning. Of the process, and then eventually probably they will check it again before they close. So you have to be in these limits for these types of properties. Agree to live in the property as your primary residence. If you stop living in the property, you must refinance out of the one mortgage. Okay. Yeah, that's no problem. And again, I would be surprised if they probably don't hold this. You've got to be your primary residence forever. Most of them have a 7-year limit. You have to be in at least for 7 years. But I'll find out if this is a forever thing, or 7 years, or 5 years, or 10 years kind of thing. Buying a 2 or 3 family property, you must complete the pre-purchase multifamily landlord course or meet with an approved agency for one-on-one counseling sessions. Okay. So obviously, if you're going to buy a 2-family, more than likely you're going to rent one and live in the other. That's not always the case. Sometimes you have a family, an extended family, where you're not going to rent the second floor or the first floor or the third floor, but you're going to put your cousins, your family, your brother, your sister, your mother in there. So maybe in that case you wouldn't have to do that. Maybe they may say, you know what, you still have the ability to do that later on in life, so we still want you to go through this landlord course, learn a little bit more about the difficulties of that kind of business. All right, so I think that's pretty much everything. And then now you got the total household income. All right, so Barnstable, Berkshire, Bristol County. They got this set up by certain towns. So Easton, Rainham. You can see these are the number of the people in your family living in the house, and here's the income limits that you have to be within. All right. Let me read this up here, because obviously you've got an 80% income and then an 100% income. Which one are we going by? Borrowers whose total housing income does not exceed 100% of the area median income may qualify for the one mortgage program. Borrowers below the 80% area median income may be eligible for the MHP subsidy. All right. So the subsidy is that extra help. So the bottom line is, if you can help it, which most people, it's kind of a bad thing, you want to be in that 80%. You want to make the lower income. If you don't make the lower income and you have the higher income, you can still get some of the benefits, but you don't get all of the benefits. Let's leave it at that. That's the basic idea. So there's different towns in Bristol County, obviously, and then there's different requirements. You can see Rainham is 120, Dartmouth, Fairhaven, New Bedford is 87. This is the 4 people in your household. We can run through this list. Taunton is in here somewhere. 104 is the 80%, 130 is the 100% median income, meaning that the average, the middle of the group of people in Taunton make 130 for a four person household. So again, whatever. That's these are the numbers that you want to stick to. This is a combined income. So if there's a husband and a wife, or a husband and a husband and a wife and a wife, whoever's making money in the household, to the household heads of households, they would combine those incomes for those numbers. All right. That's enough babbling. I'm going to go to that webinar, which is like in a week or 2 weeks from now, learn a little bit more from it. If you've got any questions between now and then, send them my way. Be happy to kind of go over this with you. And then obviously as I learn more at that webinar, maybe I'll be able to help you more with additional questions, or at least figure out who are the lenders, who do we go to get pre-approved, who checks the credit score, how do we get this thing moving, how do we get classes to get you so that you can take advantage of this, whether it be just the homeownership classes or the landlord classes, or both if you have to do both. We can figure out all those details. Tony Mello, Mello Properties Team, 508-369-9755. Hope you're having a great day. One Plus Mortgage Program. I will figure out the remainder of the details for that. This may very well be a type of program that any lender can take advantage of, maybe. And again, I'll figure that stuff out. Have a great day.